and the Lord's going to bring Trump back in. Now, I think President Trump actually would prefer not to have to come back and serve in the presidency, because his life is probably really great not having to take on that responsibility. But I believe that he knows deep down in his spirit, he knows that God has chosen him, not someone else. He's flawed for sure. I don't believe in some of the things he says about vaccines, but the truth is God called him as the trump card. And he's going to throw that card on the table in just the next few months. And you're going to see how God is actually going to take back what the enemy tried to unauthorized. He tried to steal, and he tried to manipulate. And the whole system of how we elect people in the future will be restored. Integrity will come back to the election process.
So good. Let me ask you this. How would you must have people, your people that go to your church, or people when you're out and about at conferences, who would say, come on, guys, 2 days ago was the 1-year anniversary of the election. If it wasn't over before that, it's over after a year. How can you possibly waste our time and energy claiming Trump's going to come back? He would have come back long ago had it not, if he was going to come back. What would you say?
Well, many people said when I was there at the White House, and when President Trump came over and did the fist bump, and all the news channels were blazing and taking all the pictures, right? And I took a risk to prophesy over him and Melania, but I said, you're going to win big, and he's like, I hope you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh yeah. And I repeated it because it was like, he wasn't convinced, right? Because he knew that they had rigged the system, because their intel had come in. They knew they were going to try to hijack it. And so I'm standing there in front of him on my birthday, which I just had my 50th birthday, Steve.
Oh, all right. Well, happy 50th.
People came in.
Your
I'm
Jubilee.
50 on the 27th. Yeah, the 27th. So that's when I was at the White House. So I was at the White House on the 27th, on my birthday, on my 49th birthday, I guess it was. But anyway, yeah, what's happening, what we're seeing right now is the unraveling of the enemy's plan, because God's been shining the light. Remember, I gave a word, get right before he shines the light. And I saw the Lord shining a light into the dark places and all the scurry of the evildoers, or those who had worked against Christ with an antichrist spirit. And so anyway, we're going to see God finish what he began. The word promises that he will finish the good work he began. Where people miss it and start trying to discredit the prophetic community is when they start getting the timeline messed up. If somebody gives a word that, hey, on this date, this person's going to be in office, and it doesn't come to pass, then it was a false word. It wasn't true. But if they give that word and the date that they gave hasn't yet come to pass, you can't call them a liar, or that they were wrong, because the time hasn't happened yet. If somebody doesn't give a date and God gives a word and speaks through the voice of his prophets, which he's doing on the earth right now, because there's still prophets today. This is the prophets and prophetic people is my new sermon series starting this weekend, Saturday night and Sunday. I'm going to be talking about prophets and prophetic people. And there's a whole bunch of people on the planet that don't believe that there are still prophets on the earth. And so they scripturally are trying to resolve that. And they're teaching people that prophets no longer exist.